Welcome to Reddit Views, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
They cheated on me since they were married for 5 years and had been together over 10 years. Wow. I don't know what more to say. It was something I never anticipated to happen to me, but it did. We are the parents of a 3-year-old kid. Every aspect of my life has altered in the last 6 months. When old friends reappeared in her life, she felt forced to go out drinking and partying, as if it were the good old days all over again. Even though she had always been a heavy drinker and a frequent partygoer, she was a devoted wife and mother. The previous 3 months have passed. I had a feeling something wasn't quite right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Our nanny provided me with a wealth of information. During my absence, she had been speaking with a guy for 3 months, and they had even shared a bed while I was away. We're both in our 40s at the moment. He's old enough to be my father, yet he has the appearance of a wretched grandpa. He's in his 60s, and she's never had a relationship with someone like him before. She states that despite the fact that this older guy is not her style, he respects her like a lady. And to make matters worse, she holds it against me, stating that if I had treated her like a lady, pouring water for her and laying food on her plate, this would never have happened. Over the years, she has emphasized the importance of the little details rather than the overall dinner. Rather of seeking to rehabilitate herself, she chose to kill herself. She made the choice to proceed with this particular gentleman. She has expressed her desire to have a family and her continued affection for me. She has said that she needs more time. I said that I did not want to date other individuals and then return to my previous relationship. She said that if the nanny didn't say anything, she would assume. Rather of staying at home, she would have gone out and completed her tasks before returning to a happy family. She was the one I spent the most time with. Every day, no matter where we were, we communicated and texted with one another through SMS. Everything we did over the preceding 10 years was done as a team. However, our kid will suffer much more than we would as a result of this situation. We discussed prioritizing our kid, but she disagreed, claiming that what about her happiness was being considered. I've pushed for a speedy divorce so that she understands she will never be able to rejoin her family again. I felt as if someone had died since she had been my best friend during my whole 30s. Update. We've been together for around 10 years, and we've been married for approximately 5 years. She had an affair with a 60-year-old guy. We are a couple in our 40s with a gorgeous 3-year-old daughter who we adore. The thought of my kid growing up with just a mother and a father makes me feel sorrowful. She keeps repeating that she needs time and other weak justifications to find herself and happiness, but she refuses to return to her family and her life as she knows it. Friends and family members were certain that she would never be accepted again after she had cheated on them. She made no effort to make amends for her actions. She still professes her love for me and her want to have a family, but she needs time to do it right now, so she proposes that we separate and go our own ways, then reunite later. It is, in my view, a blunder. That's not something I'm interested in doing at all. Because I wanted to spend more time with that one person, I decided to be married. She refuses to return to the family and seek to restore the relationship, which I believe is the most distressing component. I really want to go out from this place with the old gentleman. Update 1. 6 months prior to this, her old friends resurfaced in her life. She starts going out more regularly and staying out later in the evening. The previous 3 months. I received the feeling that she was having an affair. I left because I had a gut feeling about something. When I arrived home early, I inquired of my nanny as to who my wife had gone away with over the weekend, and she promptly revealed the identity of the companion. My wife deceived me for 3 days since she had no knowledge that my nanny had leaked the information. She had an affair with a man in his 60s while I was married to her. We're both in our 40s at the moment. When I initially approached her about returning home for our child's sake, she refused and said that she needed more time, which I found to be untrue. To fast forward 7 weeks, we'll say I'm now awaiting the delivery of the divorce papers, which should arrive in 2 weeks. We did everything together since she was my closest friend, and we were always together. I'm feeling a lot better right now. I will never understand why we spent 10 years and our only kid in such a wasteful manner. When I inquired as to why, she said that it was not her purpose, but she still wanted to date this particular gentleman. She wants to take a break and then return to her home with her family in mind. As a result, I'm pursuing a divorce. I was still a shambles 2 weeks ago, but because to the support of my friends and family, I've gotten down to a July 10th now. I was about 0.1% 2 weeks ago. So, what am I going to do to ensure that I don't give up? I don't miss her, but she was the only one with whom I spoke on a daily basis, no matter what was going on or where we were. We were continuously messaging and communicating with one another. I also feel terrible for my daughter, who has done nothing to deserve this. I'm hastening the divorce to make it clear to her that she will never have a second opportunity to reconcile with me. The outcome has been the devastation of several schemes as a result of it. How can I keep going while diverting my attention away from myself? I'll never be able to comprehend why she acted the way she did. We had a beautiful family, and she was cherished by all of them. Our relationship was far from perfect, and we had our disagreements like any other couple, but it all worked out in the end. She wanted to be regarded like a lady in all aspects of life. And she always claimed that she simply wanted to be treated differently for a short period of time before returning to her family. Update number 2. It's been almost 10 years. The wife wanted to spend some quality time away from the family at a fun vacation. I spotted her escaping with an older gentleman in his 60s, which I reported to the police. We're in our 30s at this point. There are no money or other difficulties to contend with. This old gentleman must be a smooth communicator. It was in direct opposition to her own beliefs that she performed. My guess is that it was either a breakdown, or an affair fog, or something else. There isn't a valid justification for this. For 10 years, she was my closest friend, and she took care of everything on my behalf. I didn't feel bad about her cheating, but I did feel bad about the fact that she had thrown away her own reputation and family in order to please some old fool. I couldn't care less if he's the ruler of the universe. Let's fast forward a few months. Divorced. My kid and I have reached a custody agreement, and she will be coming back home with me in July. I was in a state of disarray since the misery of not being able to see my kid had forced me to uncontrollably for a long period of time. However, I was able to quickly turn the situation around and emotionally distance myself. While I recognize that it is challenging, I believe that if I can accomplish it, so can you. I'm not going to tell you anything that isn't true. My dearest friend is absent from my life, but her brain is not functioning properly, and I hope she awakens sooner rather than later for her own good. Despite everything, I still see the good in her. All she did was mix with the same and re-enter the same vicious circle of life as before. I was notified 3 weeks ago that I was a 1/10 of a tenth 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 of 3. Improvement. Except for the 2 months after the tragedy, there isn't anything to report or update. The divorce is planned to take place the following week. The procedure is rapid to ensure that there is no going back for her, since she had been pleading for more time to know herself. My understanding of why she injured her own image and reputation remains a mystery to me. Is it possible that she succumbed to stress? Or did she finally snap and lose her cool? Is she some kind of or what? When I brag about cheating on a 69-year-old guy, I'm not kidding. I'm not serious. We've just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. But why would she put her name and image at risk for the sake of an old gentleman? It will take years, if not a lifetime, to restore her reputation, and she may not want to do so. I find it particularly irritating how a great, kind-hearted individual with all of the necessary ideals and so on can throw everything under the bus without a second thought. Many people, including myself, are skeptical about the long-term viability of this new relationship, and am certain she wasn't thinking in terms of the long haul. When my kid starts school in July, she will live with me for the remainder of the summer vacation, allowing me to spend the most of my time with her. When she questioned what would happen if the kid forgot about her mother, she cried and sobbed some more. I stayed deafeningly quiet. I suggested that we alternate birthdays, and she responded by saying that the kid would enjoy having both of her parents there for her birthday. I said that I was certain the kid would desire his or her mother and father every day, but that is not going to happen at this time. Update 4. As a result, before we were married, we lived in different countries. I found a place where I really enjoy to live. We have a wonderful joint savings account that we decided I would use to buy a house for myself and our kid in order to raise our child there. Our long-term objective had always been to return to my home country in a few years, but that timeline has been pushed back by 1 year. After our divorce, we spoke through email for the first time, but it was just a brief back and forth exchange. As far as I'm aware, she will not be joining us anytime soon unless she really misses her kid, which I doubt given her preoccupation with her own life. I'm still feeling the emptiness left by her departure, as well as bitterness at her for leaving us so quickly, and without explanation. My kid and I will be relocating to my native nation in the month of July. I now need to be strong in order to be confident in my ability to do this task on my own. I have family and friends who will be there for me when I need them. Although she continues to tell her brother and me that she expects to work in the family business for 5 to 6 years before relocating to be with the daughter, she has not changed her mind. I'd want to know what she's really thinking about some things. While it seems that she is not even considering a long-term relationship with this old gentleman, the possibility of such a connection lurks in the back of her mind. Her long-term goal is to start a family with her husband. She even told my nephew that she was planning to go with this older gentleman, but she quickly realized that this is not what she wanted and decided to leave. I'm vacillating between the two options. There are some days that are better than others. Today has been a very bad day. My confusion was heightened by her lack of understanding, and I couldn't help but ask, "What are you genuinely thinking?"